Hello, this is a Marvelous Designer tutorial video for exporting into Maya. I made this for a friend, but I figured it could help a lot more people if I put it up on YouTube, so this is it. If I'm doing something wrong, or if there is an easier way to do what I'm doing, please do let me know. It would help me as well. Thank you. Enjoy!
And like that. Okay. So first things first, we have all our models and we need to quadrangulate everything because it is currently all triangles. Let's assume I've already changed my settings so everything is optimized as quads. But here's what you need to do. Once you have your cloth ready, you just select all the cuts, all the cloths in 2D viewport, and you scroll down. It'll look like this. So you scroll all the way down and it says mesh type, and you change from, it'll say triangles at first, so you change from triangles to quads. But you can't exactly choose all of them and do it at once, so you go in outfit by outfit and you change it to quads. And then at the end of it, to make sure that you actually got everything, you select everything and you check. So if this is in pink, like the way these are, that means that some of them you might have missed a few of the triangled pieces in here. If it's not pink, that means that you got everything. Everything is actually quadrangulated. Okay, so next thing we need to think about is the UVs for this, because the good thing about Marvelous Designer is actually that it already UVs everything for you, because if you look at each outfit, if you look at this outfit, it's basically if you lay it out, that's what it looks like. So your 2D viewport is basically your UVs, but you can't export your 2D viewport as your UVs. Well, you can, but it's not the best way to do it. There's an easier way. You go to the UV editor, and this is an example of how I've already placed them. When you make a new outfit, say I make a new outfit right now. Okay, so let's make a new outfit. I'm just gonna move these over here underneath these. So let's just quickly let's say we just make a rectangle, okay? Because I'm not gonna make an actual shirt right now. It's gonna take a second because I have a lot of outfits here. Okay, so that's what that is. Now, when you go to the UV editor, it just shows up like that. So you just need to place it. You place it like this. The good thing about it is if you right click, you can flip it horizontally, flip it vertically. It looks the same right now because it's a rectangle, but yeah. So that's how you do that, and you flip the pieces and make sure they're in the right place, and you make sure that they're in their UDIMs. And then when you're finally ready to export everything. Yay! Once you click everything, all the mesh, you go to your 2D viewport and you shift select all of the clothes, and you go to File, you go to Export OBJ selected, and I have a very messy file structure here because this was when I was still testing everything out and learning how to use this. So I'm just gonna go rack test 2 and select it, and yeah. Okay, so this, I'd say take a screenshot of this because you're gonna need this a lot. Single object because I'm just gonna put everything together. Actually, for this, because I have a mannequin and I have all of these, I want to be able to move them all separately, so I'm gonna go for multiple objects. That means that everything's gonna come in separately. So I'm gonna go thin because I don't really need them to be thick. So I'm gonna go save with absolute texture image file path because we don't really want to have to plug in all the textures later. Make sure that your Y is up and this can stay in millimeters. So yeah. So let's just import that real quick. Import, I'm just gonna go obj. So these are your settings. I'd suggest making note of these. I've already saved my settings, so I don't need to change anything. And all the way down here, I'm just gonna bring them in as multiple objects. Yeah, okay. You know what, actually, let's try this. I did something differently last time, but we're just gonna go File, Export, PJ selected, go back to rack test 2. Okay, and I'm gonna do this as single objects. Weld everything, and hit OK. And go back to Maya. Bring everything as multiple objects and import it. Stress 2, no, rack test 2, I believe, and import. Okay. Yeah, and we're just gonna scale it. It usually comes in super big, so I'm just gonna do that. Yeah, and so there you have it. You have everything. But the problem is, when you do this, there's trouble with the textures. You're gonna, if you try and render it to see, if you try and render this, we're gonna find out that it's actually very, very glossy. And the reason for that is because it has a lot of reflectivity, and we just go to the material attributes for that and just go to each and every one, and you just got to change the reflectivity to 0. So you go for every material and go to 0, and that should fix the reflectivity of that, and soon you will have it looking like this, which looks like normal clothing. Yay! Okay, so that's it for exporting and importing from Marvelous Designer into Maya. Yay! Okay, bye!